Hey guys, welcome back to a new video by Biology with Zhangshuan. So today we are going to discuss the Cambridge IGCSE Biology Paper 2 Multiple Choice Extended, the February-March 2024 paper, Paper 2 Variant 2. So if there are any questions, do comment in the comment section below as we go through in depth with all of the questions here today. Alright, so let's go to question number 1. So which characteristics of living organisms is represented by gas exchange in the alveoli? So when they mention you characteristics of living organism, you know this is referring to chapter 1. Okay, so this is referring to chapter 1, which is asking you for your Mrs. Grant. If you remember, Mrs. Grant is on the movement, the sensitivity, the excretion. Okay, these are all examples of the characteristics of living organisms, and is represented by gas exchange in the alveoli. So immediately when you know that gas exchange happens, it means that CO2 is released as a product. So when this is released, it's known as excretion, because in the human body we have two excretory organs, okay, which is firstly the lungs, and the second one is the kidney. So the answer is A. Okay, question number 2. The diagram shows Homo sapiens could have evolved from earlier ancestors. So which statement about modern people and their ancestors is correct? So this is a statement question. So let's review one by one. They are the same species and not the same genus. No, this is confirmed wrong, because they have the same genus. This is the genus. Okay, hold up. This is the genus. This is the species. So you can see the first statement say they have the same species and the same genus. They have the same genus, but they do not have the same species, because this is different, this is different, this is different. They are the same species but not the same genus. This is also wrong, because the species are still different. The genus, however, is the same, because all are Homo. They are the same genus but not the same species. Yeah, this is correct. Okay, and they are neither the same species nor the same genus is wrong. So the answer is C. Alright. Question 3. What is the characteristics of both insects and arachnids? So this one comes back to your what are the features between the arthropods? So 8 legs, definitely not, because insects have one set of legs. Not one set of legs, they have different numbers of legs comparing to arachnids. Exoskeleton, definitely yes, both of them have the exoskeleton. They only had 3 pair of legs. Nope. Okay, and wings, they definitely have no wings. So the answer is wings. Maybe they could be only for insects lah. So but it's still not for arachnids. So the answer is just B. Question 4. An animal can swim, has a backbone, and produces milk. Okay, which group does this animal belong to? So this is referring to, you can see the animal can swim, has a backbone. So these are all vertebrates. Okay, this is the first clue, that is the vertebrates. Okay, the second one, it produces milk. Milk comes from mammary glands. Okay, mammary glands. So the only one that has the mammary glands is the mammals. Okay, so answer is C. Okay. Question 5. In which cell structure does aerobic respiration occur? So aerobic respiration occurs, we will use glucose and also incorporating oxygen to form carbon dioxide and water. But where does this occur? It occurs in the mitochondria. So because mitochondria is also known as the powerhouse of the cell, because it produces ATP or energy. It's also known as energy. Okay, question 6. Which formula shows the correct way to calculate the actual size of an object? So for me, don't need to even see the options. You just draw this formula triangle. So I M. So actual is image over magnification. So the answer is B. Very simple. Okay. Question 7. What is the reason why oxygen diffuses into the blood from an alveolus to the lungs? So I always take to draw this. Okay, There's a lot of fibers and some cells lining up here. And then this is the bloodstream. We have the red blood cells. Okay, so the oxygen concentration in the alveolus is greater than the carbon dioxide concentration in the blood. Oxygen diffuses into the blood, yeah? So means I'm assuming that from an alveolus in the lung, so it diffuses inside. Okay, I think it's here, supposed to be. Correct here. Diffuses into it. So the oxygen concentration in the alveolus is greater than the carbon dioxide concentration in the blood. Not really. No, that doesn't make sense at all. Okay, the oxygen concentration in the alveolus, okay, is greater than the oxygen concentration in the blood. Yes, because you must have the same thing. You must have both oxygen and oxygen to form the sort of concentration gradient, so that one side which is higher in concentration gradient can fall to the concentration gradient in the lower region. Now, so you can see here must always have higher O2, here must have lower O2, so that they only can diffuse into the blood. Okay, let's see the other options though. The oxygen concentration in the blood is greater than the oxygen concentration in the alveolus. This is wrong, because if this is the answer, it should be going out of the blood, because diffusion is from higher concentration gradient to a lower concentration gradient. The last one, the oxygen concentration, okay, in the blood is greater than the carbon dioxide concentration in the alveolus. This is wrong, because oxygen and carbon dioxide is both different things. They are both different gases and they have different concentration gradients too. So the answer is B. Slightly a trick question. You just need to know that it has to be the same gases that only diffusion can happen. Alright? Okay, question 8. The diagram shows two plant cells. Which statement describes what will happen to the water in the cell? Okay, higher water potential, so to low water potential, this is considered as osmosis. So the direction of the water will go to X to Y. So the answer would be B. Very simple. This is all, question 7 and question 8 is all using the definition, and you apply to this kind of situations. When you know and understand the definition, you definitely know how to do this. This is very simple also. Question 9. Which role describes active transport? So another same definition, you refer and you try to see whether the statements are correct or not. So the movement of substance from a lower to higher concentration, or also known as against the concentration gradient, is correct for active transport. So A and B is out already. Requires energy from respiration. So yes, they need. So this is out. Yes. And requires a protein carrier in the cell membrane. Yes, they need also. So this is out. Correct. So the answer for this question is D. You'll be asking me, why do I need a protein carrier? Because the ATP, right? You see, that's why I say requires energy from respiration. The energy is going to pump the protein to basically activate the protein carrier, so that they can pump the ions or anything across the concentration gradient. It needs something for it to go to the other side, because you are literally going against the concentration gradient. Okay, so this is the reason why it needs a protein carrier. Question 10. Which row shows the elements that made up the carbohydrate molecule? So this is CHO, carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So you just see, the answer is C. Alright, so all very straightforward questions, I would say. Question 11. Large molecules are made from smaller molecules. Which row name shows the large molecules and the small molecules it is made from? Okay, so the large molecules, we have cellulose, and the small molecule is made from glucose. Okay, that is correct actually. Fat is from glycogen. No, glycogen is a sugar, okay, which is later stored after the insulin has been converting the glucose into the glycogen. So fat is supposed to be glycerol, okay. Glycogen, fatty acid, no. This is almost the same thing as B, which it doesn't make sense at all. Starch and amino acids, no. Okay, amino acids from proteins. Okay, so the answer is A. Question 12. The graph shows the effect of temperature on the activity of the enzyme. So this is the effect of temperature. So which statement about the enzyme and substrate at temperatures 1 and 2 are correct? So they give you this point and this point. Now they want you to answer what happens during this point. So temperature number 1, they say that, okay, the active site fits into the substrate of the enzyme. The active site fits. No, this doesn't make sense. The active site, no, it should be the substrate that fits into the active site of the enzyme. The enzyme and the substrate have the same shape. The enzyme, no, they do not, but they have complementary shape. It means that it's almost like this is the enzyme. Okay, you need to have something which looks like this. So they are not the same shape at all, but the shape is complementary. This is the key word. It means that they complement each other. They can bind like almost like a lock and key. Okay, the enzyme is denatured. Definitely not. They are not yet denatured yet. They are just inactive. The substrate fits into the active site of the enzyme. Yes, that's correct. Now this is the correct option. The substrate for temperature number 2, which is already surpassed the optimum temperature, the substrate changes shape so that it cannot fit into the active site. So the substrate changes shape so that it cannot fit into the active site. Yeah, that actually makes sense. Okay. Wait, no, it's the active site that changes shape. It's the active site that changes shape because enzyme is very sensitive to temperature. When there's too high of a temperature, they will cause the shape of the enzyme to change, not allowing the substrate to bind anymore. Okay, that's the reason. The enzyme and substrate have different shape. Now this is correct. The enzyme and substrate have complementary shapes. This is the correct one. The active site changes shape so that the substrate cannot fit into it. This is correct. But since the temperature 1 statements are wrong, therefore the only answer is D. Okay, question 13. In an investigation, the rate of photosynthesis in the plant is measured at different temperatures. The investigation is carried out at 3 different light intensities. The results are shown. So what is the limiting factor for the rate of photosynthesis at point X? So point X shows medium light intensity. Okay, so all the while here, you can see, let me draw this line. Before it reaches to its, hold up, I'm trying to find where is the, okay, about here. Okay, for this part, okay, this is all, since temperature is the x-axis, right, whichever increases from the first in the first section, right, is always by temperature. But later on, as it begins to, starts to plateau, or it starts to become stationary, okay, plateau means it starts to become stationary. There are different levels now. You can see high light intensity have a higher curve, and then low light intensity have a lower curve. So what will be the limiting factor at this point now? So that second one, it's all caused by light intensity. That's why there are different, there are different levels. So the answer is C. Okay, so if there are any questions, just comment in the section below. I can rectify you for you again. Question 14. In plants, which ions are used to make amino acids? So this is nitrate lah. Okay, you know why, right? Because nitrates is almost similar. It's coming from nitrogen, and you need to know that protein contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Nitrates is like, it's another form, but when it starts to dissolve, it starts to become it starts to make amino acids from there because it contains the element nitrogen inside there. Okay. Question 15. The diagram shows the cross section of a part of a leaf. Which structure is the cuticle? The cuticle is the waxy layer on top of the leaf. So the answer is A. Okay, this is the waxy layer. This one is the upper epidermis. This is the palisade mesophyll cell. C, this is the spongy mesophyll. This one is the rest of it is just like the what to say is stomata. Could be the stomata, but lower epidermis will make sense. Lower epidermis. Okay, so the answer is just A. Question 16. Poor nutrition can lead to a condition called rickets in which bones fail to develop properly. The table shows some minerals and vitamins present in 4 foods. Which food will be best for the child who has rickets? So rickets is the deficiency of basically calcium and vitamin D, but mainly vitamin D. So which one of course this child should take? So the answer would be B lah. Okay, if you want to take calcium, you need to eat vitamin D too, because vitamin D helps to reabsorb the calcium into the body. Okay. Question 17. Which food, is chemically digested in the mouth, passes through the small stomach, and continues to be broken down by chemical digestion in the small intestine? So this food basically has undergone one time of digestion in the mouth, which is the first clue. Okay, chemically digested in the mouth already. And remember, it's amylase is the first one that you can encounter. Amylase is the first enzyme that encounters with some food made from starch, then to maltose. So this is definitely carbohydrates. Because mineral salts cannot, proteins are not digested yet. The first is at the stomach. The first chemical digestion is made at the stomach. The vitamins are reabsorbed only. They cannot be digested. So the answer is just A. Question 18. Which row about bile is correct? Okay, so organ where bile is produced is from the liver. Okay, liver is the one that produces the bile. Okay, so these are all the which has gallbladder is wrong. Effect of the bile on the fat droplet surface area, it increases the surface area. Okay, the process involved is a physical digestion actually. Okay, it's not chemical digestion, because chemical digestion must be use of enzymes. Okay, it has to be enzyme, and also enzyme will usually break down into even smaller one, like from fat it becomes fatty acid to glycerol. But for bile, they didn't break down anything yet. They only just increases the surface area so that chemical digestion will be much easier. Okay, that is the answer. So question 18 is donkey. Okay, question 19. Okay, the small intestine is where most digested food is absorbed. The small intestine has many villi. These are some features of villi. So each villus contains a network of capillaries. So 19 number 1 is correct. Each villus contains a lacteal. Not necessary though. Not all may have a lacteal. The surface of each epithelial cell, is covered with microvilli. That is correct. Villi increases the surface area, internal surface area of the small intestines. Which statement about the villi are important for the efficient absorption of glucose? Okay, why statement number 2 is out is because lacteal only absorbs fatty acids. They want efficient absorption of glucose. So glucose is a sugar. It cannot be reabsorbed by the lacteal. So the answer is B. So that's why you have to read the question properly. Question 20. Which statements about xylem vessels are correct? So xylem vessels have cells with cross-wall. No, they are most of the cells in xylem are made of dead cells. Question 2. Part 2. Xylem vessels have thick walls with lignin. Yes, that's correct. Xylem vessels transport water and mineral ions. That is correct. So the answer is C. Question 21. Dodder is a plant that grows on other plants called hosts. The dodder plant connects to the host vascular bundles. The dodder plant does not have green leaves or roots. So which correctly describes the regions for translocation? Okay, so the dodder plant, they do not have green leaves or roots, meaning they already lack a source already. So the dodder will basically act as a sink this time, okay? And the host leaves, it will be a source, okay? If you want to, if I can explain to you again for this why, is because the daughter plant do not have green leaves of roots. You know green leaves is responsible for photosynthesis, right? Which helps to make food for the plant. However, the daughter plant do not have that. So therefore, the daughter itself is act as a sink. It stores only. They must have a stem, but they just do not have the leaves, okay, or the roots, which are usually source all of the nutrients for the plant itself. So they do not have that. Therefore, they becomes a sink. And they say that daughter is a plant that grows on other plants, so they grow on other plants called host. It means that the host leaves, they are the one that are responsible for becoming the source of the daughter plant too. So they are the one that can act as a source only, so that they can, send all of the required nutrients by translocation to the daughter plant too. Alright, so the answer is C. Question 22. The diagram shows part of the human circulatory system. Which structure is the hepatic vein? So hepatic vein is the one that goes back to the heart already. So the answer is D. Why is it not B? B is the hepatic portal vein. Okay, I draw this hepatic portal vein, which are both two different things. Hepatic portal vein is not the same as the hepatic vein. Hepatic vein is almost similar to the renal vein, okay, that goes back to the heart directly. So that one is both different things. So the answer is D. That's why be careful. There's one question that can ask hepatic vein, which is just the simple vein that brings back the blood to the heart. The other one is the hepatic portal vein, which links from one organ to the liver. Okay. Question 23. What is the feature of passive immunity? So antibodies are acquired from another individual. Yes, that's correct. It can be gained through infection with pathogen. No. Long-term protection is gained. No. That is only short-term for passive immunity, and there is no memory cells produced. So the answer is just A. Question 24. The graph shows the change in the rate of breathing of an athlete. What causes the response during time period Y? So you can see that the increase of rate of breathing means that this person is undergoing a massive vigorous exercise that time. So what can it be the response at time Y? So a decrease in the concentration of oxygen in the blood. No, not necessarily. There's still oxygen needed. Otherwise, this may cause the how are you supposed to breathe, okay? And some of the air, right, always have higher concentration of oxygen than carbon dioxide. A decrease in the concentration of urea in the blood. No, this doesn't even make sense at all. It has to be the gases. C. An increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide in the blood. Yes, correct. You can have very little, I cannot say very little oxygen. It's just that due to the increase of carbon dioxide, right, you breathe even more. You want more oxygen to come into your body to remove the CO2, because CO2 is starting to build up. As your body goes to anaerobic respiration, right, you need more oxygen. That's why it links to oxygen debt. So the rate of breathing increases due to the concentration of carbon dioxide going up. Therefore, the answer is C. Last one, an increase in the concentration of red blood cell in the blood. No, that doesn't make sense at all. No correlation. Okay. Question 25. These are the processes that occur in plants. Which processes uses energy from respiration? Respiration. Okay. So active transport, yes, as we said before, it does. Cell division, yes. Osmosis, no. Osmosis is a passive process. Passive do not need any energy. Transpiration, no. It's all caused by what happens during the process inside. Like the transpiration pool is naturally without using energy. It's based from the cells that help to allow this pool to happen. So the answer is just A. 25 is A. Question 26. What is the balance equation for the anaerobic respiration of yeast? So yeast is coming from glucose. Okay, then this will form ethanol, and most importantly CO2, carbon dioxide. So the answer for this one is B. Okay, if you see OH means this is an alcohol. Alright, so that's just the key thing that you need to see, and you definitely have found the answer already. Okay, but of course you may get confused with, can it be C also? So you must remember that anaerobic respiration in yeast will definitely release carbon dioxide. Another clue is carbon dioxide is also released in the process. For lactic acid, there is no CO2 being produced. Question 27. Which labeled organ has a major role in the assimilation of amino acids by converting them into proteins? So this one is the liver. Okay, so question 27 is A. So most assimilation happens in the liver. Okay. Question 28. A toxin that is the same shape as the neurotransmitter prevents muscle contraction. Which statement explains why the toxin prevents muscle contraction? So question 28, of course, let's see. The toxin blocks the binding of the neurotransmitter to receptors on motor neurons. Okay, that is correct. The toxin increases the release of neurotransmitter. No, because it says that it prevents muscle contraction. It means that there is no response being made. Something has gone wrong in the middle of it that prevents the next one from continuing. The toxin increases the release of neurotransmitter. So anything related to increased release of neurotransmitter is out, because if there's increased release of neurotransmitter, there is no problem in the contraction. The toxin stimulates impulses in motor neuron. This is the almost similar to B and C. No relation. Is that the toxin, right, always think is something bad. It blocks something. Therefore, it cannot continue that impulse. So the answer is A. Question 29. Okay, the diagram shows the structure of the human eye, which labeled part refracts light entering the eye. So it should be the cornea. So the answer is D. So you must know the labelings now, so they can test you like this. They ask you for the function, they give you the function, you have to find the structure inside the given diagram. Alright, or they can maybe ask you that they give you the particular structure. Now they give you the ABCD options, would be like what is the function of that structure given. Okay, question 30. Okay, a patient is injected with adrenaline. So adrenaline will increase a lot of things. Our blood pressure, our fight and flight response have been increased too. So which graph shows the expected changes to pulse rate and blood glucose concentration? So everything will increase. Okay, so both of these will increase because blood glucose concentration is needed at higher so that mitochondria can constantly release energy. So it uses energy, by the way, for when injected with adrenaline, right? The whole body becomes active. When it becomes active, it needs more energy, and it requires glucose because glucose is the key reactant for this respiration. So the answer is C. Question 31. The diagram shows the shoot, okay, and the root of a seedling responding to gravity. Which row shows where the oxygen accumulates and the effect of this in the shoot? So of course, this question you may need to have a look. So you see, it's responding to gravity now. So where is it formed? So responding to gravity, we assume it's going down. So I would see this part. I don't confuse myself, but I will see that part. So where it accumulates at the lower surface, which is here. Okay, so when it accumulates here, oxygen will definitely promote cell elongation. So the answer is B. Question 32. Which factors will increase the chance of antibiotic resistance developing? So regularly giving antibiotics to a healthy livestock. Oh, this definitely increases the chance because it needs to be for a set treatment, and it shouldn't be regularly, and it must be used for a specific infection, like a bacterial infection. Only use antibiotics to treat bacterial infection. Now this has no relationship. Okay, using several different antibiotics to treat infection, you cannot do that. If you do this, surely antibiotic resistance will happen. Using good personal hygiene to avoid infection. So there's no relation to the question. So the answer is just B. Okay, question 33. What is an advantage of using asexual reproduction in crop plant? So it can reliably produce many crop plants with desirable characteristics. That is true, because asexual reproduction is producing the same as the parent. You know, the offspring is the same as the parent. So offspring same as parent. So if you want to have a particular characteristic, right, you just continue breed it using asexual reproduction, you get the same one. Therefore, you're going to get your desired characteristics. It increases genetic variation. No, this is for sexual. It only requires doing pollination. No, this is not related. It reduces the chance of new disease spreading through all crop plants. This is also for sexual. For asexual, the disadvantage is that it can have a new disease can be spread, okay, at the same time, because they have almost the same genetic sequence. So the answer is A. Okay. Okay. Question 34. The graph shows the concentration in the blood of 4 hormones involving in controlling the menstrual cycle. Which line represents follicle stimulating hormone? So let's see. So, okay. Follicle stimulating hormone happens during the release of the follicle lah. Okay, so they start to develop the follicle, mature the follicle. Only LH will release the ovary. So it's most of the time it's not very high in concentration, but you must know. Okay, let's label lah. Okay, for C, you know this is estrogen, because estrogen is quite high near ovulation, and after ovulation occurs, progesterone will take over. So I've done the first two already. So C and D is out. Now let's see. We need to know that which particular hormone most responsible for ovulation first. Luteinizing hormone. So luteinizing hormone at day 14 is always at the highest. So this is LH. So the last answer is FSH. So this is answer B. So for this kind of question, you need to deduce lah. Okay, you need to see what can you recognize, which one that relates to this particular timing, which hormone is at a very high concentration at which timing. Then you can find, deduce the answer, eliminate one by one, and you can definitely find the final answer. Question 35. The mitotic index of a tissue is the percentage of cells in the tissue that are dividing by mitosis. The table shows information about two tissue samples X and Y. So which statement is correct? So you have to use what I call as, you need to divide here and there to get your answer. So let's see lah, okay? So tissue X is growing faster with a mitotic index of 31.3%. So the answer is A lah, okay? So you just use percentage to calculate. You should get your answer as A, okay? So if you want me to show, I can show you quickly right now. So you just basically use this one lah. 25 over 80 times 100%, you're gonna get 31.3%. But for Y, right, it's 15 over 110 times 100. So it should be 13.6%. Okay, so tissue Y is not growing the fastest. These are all wrong. Okay, so the answer is just A. Question 36. Fruit flies can either have red eyes or white eyes. This is a sex-linked characteristic with the gene for eye color located on the X chromosome. The allele for red eyes is dominant over the allele for white eyes. A fruit fly with the genotype XR and XR was crossed with a fruit fly with a genotype of XR and Y. So which percentage of the offspring will have red eyes? Okay, let's do the Punnett cross. So XR, XR, and this is XR, Y. So this will be XR, XR, this is X capital R, Y, this is X capital R, X small r, X small r, Y. Okay, so which percentage of the offspring will have red eye? So red eye is dominant. So the answer is 1, 2, 3. So this is 3 out of 4. which is 75%. Okay. Question 37. Which statement about variation is correct? ABO group shows continuous variation. No, it should be discontinuous variation. Body mass shows the discontinuous variation. No, body mass always changes, so it's continuous. Seed color in peas shows continuous variation. This is wrong. It should be discontinuous, because when the seed is released, it already has that color, so it's already discontinued. Seed shape in peas shows discontinuous variation. Yeah, that's correct lah. So of course, different peas are not the seed, right? They are not like us, okay? So once they are released in this shape, they are already forever in this shape, so they are discontinuous. So hold up, seed color in peas shows it should be discontinuous, by the way, discontinuous. Seed shape in pea is also discontinuous. Okay, so this is the correct answer. Question 38. Which row shows part of the nitrogen cycle? So let's see. The name of the process: decomposition. The chemical change is ammonium ions. Chemical produced is protein. This is wrong. Okay. Denitrification from nitrate ion to ammonium ion. No, it should be nitrogen gas, because denitrification. Nitrogen fixation from chemical change in nitrate ion produced in nitrogen gas. Nope. Nitrogen fixation should be the other way around also. Nitrification is from ammonium ions to nitrate ions. That's correct, because nitrification, you're definitely forming something relating to nitrate. Okay, so the answer is D. Question 39. When in vitro fertilization is used in captive breeding programs, these processes occur. So the egg cell is fertilized, the egg cell is removed from an ovary, the embryo is implanted into the uterus, the sperm cells are added. Okay, never mind. Let's see. So question 39. So what is the first step? So IVF is by removing from the gametes from the male and also the gamete from the female. So you're doing within the glass. So in vitro means within the glass. So this is not inside the reproductive system anymore. It's outside in the laboratory setting. So first thing, you remove from the ovary. Okay. Then you do the sperm cells are then added. So the egg will only fertilize. Then the embryo is implanted into the uterus. So this is the answer. So the answer is B. So for Major people, you can use this to revise a little bit. I'm just worried that they can ask for artificial insemination. So do read on artificial insemination too. Question 40. The diagram shows a bacterial cell. Which cell structure is useful for genetic modification? Plasmids. So which is the plasmid? It's a circular ring, okay, in the bacteria, which the answer is D. Alright, so that's it for this paper. So this paper is not really that hard. It's just that as long as you sharpen your concept and your understanding, you definitely know how to do this paper. So thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.